Yet 5 times in the story of Samson it says the Spirit of the Lord came on him in power. You ask why? Hebrews 11 tells us why. Because he was a man of faith. You can be in the midst of a situation that itself may be bad, but you cry out to God and say, God, I'm going to trust you. You see, the real issue in life is not whether we have it all together. The real issue is whether we're willing to trust God. You know, God writes people's biographies in a very different way to the way most of us write people's biographies. There's that verse which says in 1 Samuel, God sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. And actually we often quote that verse in the sense that outwardly someone looks good, but God knows the real heart. But the context was the other way around. Outwardly, they look all messed up, but God knows their heart. See, this came from David. When Samuel was sent down to Bethlehem to get a new king after Saul had been rejected, and God said, there's a man of my own heart. Go down to the house of Jesse in Bethlehem. And when Saul got down there to Jesse's household, he said to Jesse, would you bring your sons before me? And Jesse said, yes, I will. And he brought 6 sons, but he had 7. He didn't bring David. First one was Eliab, and Samuel thought, surely the Lord's anointed stands before me, because, man, he is good looking, he's tough, he's strong, he shaves every day with a chainsaw, and he scratches himself with barbed wire. I mean, he's tough. And that's when God said, don't consider his appearance. The Lord does not look on the things man looks on. Man looks on the outward appearance, God looks on the heart. Yeah, he looks good, but I know his heart. Actually, he had 8 sons, and he had 7 sons pass by him, and God said, no, 7 times. And Samuel was confused and said to Jesse, do you not have one more son? And Jesse was embarrassed. Yeah, I was afraid you'd ask me that question. We do. He's the youngest, but he's a musician. He's one of these temperamental types. He sits out there with the sheep playing his harp. Probably got hair down his back. I mean, he spends all day writing songs, then he comes home and he sings them to us every night. I mean, last week he came home and he'd just written his 119th and he sang every verse. 176 verses, and he sang them all. I wouldn't touch him. And Samuel said, bring him in. They brought in David, and God said, this is the man. Now we know David also had his pitfalls and his problems. We know that. We do know that what God saw was what Hebrews 11 talks about. He was a man who trusted God, because when as a boy, out with his sheep, one day a bear came. And you talk about wiggly sheep. Anyway. A bear came. And I imagine David's father probably said to him, David, when you're out with those sheep, if ever a bear or a lion comes, you get those sheep back home. Don't you ever fight the bear or the lion. But he said to himself, if I'm to be a shepherd, I'm to be a good shepherd. And if I'm to be a good shepherd, God will help me to be a good shepherd. He said, I took the bear by his beard and I slew it. And a lion came. And I slew the lion. He told this to Saul when he was troubled over Goliath, and said that God who delivered me from the bear and the lion would deliver me from this soldier, this Philistine. You see, as a teenager, out on the hillside, caught in a crisis, he trusted God, and God delivered him from the lion and the bear. One man from my own heart, Samuel. I don't care how tough he looks or how big he looks or how young he is or how old he is. I just want a man who will trust me. That's the man.